Hoyoverse decided to pull a funny and recreate the worst controversy in Genshin Impact history. And while I know this controversy is like 1 month old, I think there is a lesson to be had. To start, let me explain what had actually happened. On January 19, 2024, Genshin Impact hosted the version 4.4 special program, where players will be able to see all of the upcoming content in the titular version 4.4. And this version is very special, because the main theme of the update is Chinese New Year's, which, need I tell you, is very special for the country that Genshin derives from, as well as many others in Eastern Asia. This event is very important for Hoyoverse, as this allows them to celebrate the holiday through Genshin itself, fostering goodwill among the Chinese fans, and also showing their culture to millions of players across the world. So why was this lantern rite so problematic? You see, in the version 4.4 special program, Hoyoverse announced that, to thank everyone for their support and company over the past year, they are going to use the in-game mail to send us all 3 intertwined fates. 3 wishes for 3 years. That was what Hoyoverse said. Now I just want to clarify that this was not the only issue of the 4.4 update, but this does serve as the straw that broke the camel's back. Genshin Impact is not known to be the friendliest of gacha games. Must I remind everyone of the first anniversary, where to celebrate the 1 year of dedicated support from their millions of fans, MiHoYo at the time decided to reward them with more gacha. Now they did give an additional 10 wishes through an in-game login event, and they did eventually bend their knee to the backlash and sent every player 1600 Primo Gems. But this issue is less about the rewards and more about the disconnect between Hoyoverse and their players. For example, players have demanded artifact loadouts for Genshin ever since the game's conception. And finally, after 3 years, Hoyoverse decided to add them into the game. Problem is, this is just the recommended gear function from Honkai Star Rail, but under the illusion of artifact loadouts, which is not what the players wanted. For Hoyoverse to miss the mark after 3 years of feedback goes to show just how disconnected they are from their players, especially in comparison to Honkai Star Rail, which has been doing everything that Genshin has not been doing, despite being from the same company. And that really is the main cause of the recent lantern rite controversy. Let's be real, had they not even mentioned the additional 3 wishes, then this entire controversy would have blown over. Had Hoyoverse just left the rewards at 10 wishes, then most players would just say, better than nothing, or Genshin could never, and return back to farming for their free doctor ratio. But because Hoyoverse stated that the 3 wishes were for the support from their players, many found this statement to be rather disingenuous, so much so that the Chinese player base decided to take action, downvoting and unfollowing Genshin on a number of platforms. For example, on Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok, the official Genshin Impact page has lost over 3 million followers from its original 11 million. And not only is Genshin being targeted, but any company that has worked with the game prior had been targeted as well. Companies like KFC, Pizza Hut, and Haiti have also received massive followings in light of the lantern rite controversy. And this is bad for Hoyoverse, because painting Genshin in a negative light may deter potential players and sponsors from the game, ultimately attacking where Genshin lines their pockets, which is a much better alternative to review bombing Google Classroom and spamming dead Chi-Chi emotes for hours on end. Speaking of which, what do the global players think about the controversy? To put it lightly, not much. At least not until the Chinese players started lighting a fire under Genshin. Only then did the global players finally speak their mind, which is also another problem when it comes to Genshin and their players. Not only does Hoyoverse not understand what the players want for the game, but the players do not understand what they want for the game either. I don't think it's a stretch to say that a good number of Genshin players have never really played any other gacha game, or even any other video game. So their standards for what to expect from a live service game is rather skewed. They do not understand what players should expect from the developers, and so they are instead content with whatever Hoyoverse puts on their plate. However, that is not to say these players are at fault. They are simply playing a video game they enjoy, and we should not take that away from them, because at the end of the day, they are casuals. They are not Twitch chat, they are barely YouTube frogs, they are just casual players who do not care for whatever discourse is happening in Genshin. All they care about is having fun. To them, all of these issues are just the norm, and because they make the majority of the Genshin fandom, the people who do demand change are unfortunately the minority, and so their complaints fall into deaf ears, rarely ever being heard by Hoyoverse. But that's not to say all of our complaints are fruitless, because Genshin does have a history in changing the game according to player feedback. Think back to Zhongli and how many players advocated for his buff. Think back to the first anniversary and how Hoyoverse bent their knee to player outcry. Think back to the weapon banner and how the Pinma's path was added in lieu of player concerns in one staff of Homa. Still sucks, by the way. So yes, we should voice our complaints, because Hoyoverse do hear them, even if it is just one comment or one tweet or one YouTube video. So long as we keep on talking about these issues, then more people will be aware of them and weigh in on the feedback, and maybe, just maybe, Hoyoverse will actually listen and bring upon meaningful change. But not all players see this the same way, which brings us to another problem. something I and many others refer to as toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is a concept where everyone is expected to think positively, creating this sort of echo chamber of the same positive takes. Share the same opinion as everyone else, and you will be welcomed with open arms. Dare share a differing opinion, however, and expect these also positive individuals to start calling you toxic, and maybe send death threats in your DMs. That fear of being demonized by the Genshin community affects many people, hence why you rarely hear much open criticism against the game, especially among content creators, and that shows with the recent Lantern Right controversy. Prior to the uproar among Chinese players, no one really spoke out about the issues beyond the usual suspects. But once the curtains started being pulled back, these content creators now had the platform to speak on the matter without being vilified, at least on YouTube. On Twitch, they do often voice their complaints about the game, but Twitch is a much smaller platform and has less of an outreach, compared to YouTube, where complaints can be compiled into a curated video and pushed to a larger number of viewers via the algorithm. The point is, because of the recent uproar from the larger parts of the Genshin community, now players would not be as adverse to hearing negativity about the game, meaning content creators can finally openly discuss their concerns without being vilified by their audience, which is a rather backwards way of thinking, but unfortunately it is what it is. Because keep in mind that many of these content creators' livelihoods often rely on Genshin Impact, so even saying something negative about the game could put their career at risk, because most likely, their channel was built on the foundations of this game. So while it's good to hear content creators speaking up about the issues, do not expect them to suddenly divert their content to just that. They will continue to cover Genshin the way they did, because either they rely on the game for their paycheck, or they genuinely do enjoy the game, and we have no right to tell them otherwise. You can agree or disagree, but it is their channel. So we have Hoyoverse not being able to read the room, and we have players going after each other for simply stating their opinion, or not stating their opinion. It should not be a surprise to see why people do not complain about the game, when all they are met with is either disinterest or toxicity. And I think there is one word that really sums up why people avoid doing so. Drama. People are afraid of drama, or at least afraid of being involved in drama. And when even the most normal statement can be strawmanned into someone else's argument, then of course no one wants to speak up. However, and this might be a hot take, but complaining to your multi-million-dollar company should not be considered drama. You are the consumer. You have every right to complain about the product you are consuming, free or not. If you ordered an entree called Artifact Loadouts and was served recommended gear instead, then you should complain to your server, because contrary to popular belief, voicing your complaints is not drama. Not once did I use the word drama in this video for that same reason. And yes, I am aware of the drama that is happening on Twitter, but I think that has now gone beyond Genshin and has become personal. And as someone with no horse in this race, I will not comment on the matter. That is not my business. What I will say is, somehow, Hoyoverse got away from this controversy scot-free. At the time of me writing this script, Hoyoverse has yet to address the player outcry, and they most likely will not, because while they're sitting on the throne, counting the millions they made from Cloud Retainer's banner, we are over here fighting each other over reasons we seem to have forgotten. Because at the end of the day, we should not be demonized for voicing our complaints. Are some complaints unreasonable? Sure, but they are still valid for discussion. And until we can accept that complaining does not automatically equate to drama, then Genshin will never change. If you still enjoy Genshin, then please continue enjoying Genshin. You should not let anyone tell you how you should spend your time and your money, but do not shut people down for wanting to voice their concerns. This is not your war to fight, this is theirs. At the same time, we should not shut people down for simply enjoying the game either. Their voice is just as important as everyone else's. There is no benefit to slandering others. That only distracts us from the actual issues at hand. Communication is key, not only between players, but also between player and content creator, between one content creator and another content creator, between content creator and developer. And if we can't even have that, then do we really deserve change? Because apparently, Hoyoverse does not. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in. If you liked the video, then do please leave a like. If not, then a dislike will do. And subscribe to the channel if you want more. Now go out there and pre-register for Wuthering Ways. See, Kuro, I'm doing my job.